Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. Talk of the Town, brought to you by Dvorak Motors. We're your family for a lifetime. Big Boy, just get in line. It moves fast. Hit Inc. Independence, dignity, respect. Hit Inc.
Super Talk 1270, this is Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Steve Bakken, on a Friday free-for-all. Big event coming up in Bismarck this weekend, The Rock Show. That's all I'm going to tell you. Details coming up in about 15 minutes. Also, we're going to talk with Tom Briggle, owner of the Bismarck Bobcats. They've got a big home and home this weekend. Of course, they're playing here at the VFW Arena tonight. And then in Minot, a home and home with the Minotauros tomorrow night. We can catch Bobcat hockey. Of course, we are the home for the Minnesota Wild, who aren't really starting out the season like we'd hope, but we'll talk to Tom about that. And, of course, coming up, if you got to get up early, Sunday morning, set the alarm. Of course, we are the home of the Broncos, and the Broncos game is going to be from across the pond. They are going to be traveling overseas this weekend. It's their turn, so early game, so if you're tailgating before the game, you got to get up really early. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. Joining us in the program, Carel Two Eagle, single.mens housing co-op, of course, is something that we've been following here very closely on the program. And you guys just had another meeting.
Yeah, last week.
So what came out of that meeting? Because you guys have been working on getting a facility located and addressing a need that we've got, single custodial fathers that, when you're talking homelessness, there's a lot of different pieces that go on the pallet. And that's a group of individuals that just falls through the crack. There's no place to go if you're a father, if you got a daughter. A lot of times you wind up getting separated. There's no place for the family to stay together.
No, there isn't. And it isn't only for single custodial fathers. Actually, we only have room for 3 of those with up to 3 minor children each.
But that's filling a niche, and that's a big niche in the community.
It's a start. I mean, we've had the building, about a year and a half, but we don't own it. We have a letter of intent signed with sellers, and it's contingent on getting financing. So the grant is finally finished, and it's just shy of $1 million. It will enable us to buy the building and rehab it to some degree that it needs, it hasn't been occupied for at least 6 years. And the men are going to basically live in their construction zone. They're going to work on it. They're going to work on it under supervision if they need it, and most of them maybe, I'm thinking, will.
And that's the cool part about your program, what you're trying to accomplish here, because as a co-op, there's ownership involved. And I'm a big advocate that if you've got skin in the game, it's going to be a better project, whether it's a private-public partnership out in the capital world or a project like this. If you've got ownership of something, if you've got skin in that game, you're going to work harder. It's going to be a better project.
And I think you're going to do a better job because you want to look at that and say, I did that.
Yeah, there's some pride with ownership.
There is. When I was working on a project over at Beulah, must be 10 years ago now, the building had been framed by a crew of Mexicans from Texas, and there were a lot of goof-ups in there. And I went through and corrected them, and I signed it inside the walls. This area was made to meet code by Carel Two Eagle's carpenter. So someday they're going to take the building down and they're going to find us all through the building.
Your own little time capsule.
Yeah, I am.
So I am assuming you're going to probably do some of that on this building.
Yeah, we are. And basically the grant will provide us with what we need to survive in terms of secure, safe, lock out the world, cook your own meals or have somebody there do it for you, but it's not a shelter.
Right.
You pay here. It costs money to maintain it. So every month there is a maintenance share. And it's pretty much equal for all the guys who are not custodial fathers. But one of our board members is a custodial father. He's native. And he's never been a drinker, a doper, a batterer, in jail, or any of the rest. He just can't get housing because he's Native and he's a custodial father. And he said, make it double for them. So, okay, we made it double for them. And about this problem with Native men, I said we should start spelling it NAY-TIVE because it means no natives.
We're talking with Carel Two Eagle, single.mens housing cooperative. So, as far as a timeline,
well, we're sending out the grant to various people and places. Okay, everything depends on money, and loans are never going to be an option for us. For one thing, nobody on the board is willing to put whatever it takes on the line, and I live on a vow of personal poverty, and I had 3 organizations that I had for $1 a month apiece. So that's not going to do us any good. Anybody making a loan is going to look at that and say, okay, this is not an option.
Yeah, bankers don't like that one.
No. It's admirable in sociological ways, and it keeps the IRS out of our hair. But after that, it's a problem.
Well, keeping the IRS out is always a good time, but so from a financial perspective, the grant will get things off the ground, get them up and running. Then, as far as the maintenance costs and things, what you're working on accomplishing is filling a need in the community from a homeless perspective, and trying to do it affordably. Now, you think about homelessness and affordability; those are 2 terms that usually don't go together, but. Usually. But what you're also trying to facilitate is an opportunity for somebody to pick themselves up by their bootstraps and start making progress of getting back into society. Yeah,
it is. And a lot of these men have been in jail, but some of our applicants haven't been, which is great. One of the men who came to the meeting on Saturday, we were talking about the money part, as usual, and he said, well, I went to UND on a business scholarship. He said, I'd be happy to keep the books. I nearly slid off my chair. And I said, you're probably hired, although it's a non-paying position. And he cracked up. We've had men come to us and ask about the child support problem. One guy came in with really a story that's just hair-raising. His kids have all aged out, but he is still being charged interest on his child support, even though he's current. So I'm looking into that, see if we can, that's not legal. That can't be right. And I'm looking in the...
Not if you're current, I guess.
Yeah, he's current.
And if they're all aged out, I can see something in arrears, but...
But we even if it was in arrears, if he's making his payments every paycheck, and he does, then they shouldn't be charging him any interest on anything, even if he's in arrears, because he's never going to get caught up.
Right.
This is outrageous.
It's a system that'll just keep you broken.
Yeah, well, the system creates homelessness. The system does it by itself. And shelters that are run like jails, like the one in Bismarck, that one is not helping these guys because it causes tremendous stress. They're frustrated, and they have no place to go. If you can find a landlord who will rent to you, then many of these landlords harass the tenants, even though it's illegal. And, these men feel like they live behind the 8 ball and they're not even sure where the edges are. So this is a pilot project, and I really believe this is going to go very, very big once we get it off the ground.
Well, and that's the other side of this. It's once you get it off the ground, then being able to replicate this, because there's... whether it's an expansion opportunity or within other communities, because that need is in other communities as well.
And we've had inquiries, including from reservations. One of my relatives is the head of housing on a reservation. And I happened to say something about it, and he said, tell me, please. And I said, okay.
Well, I'm a fan of anything that's outside the box, because nowadays you got to get a little creative sometimes. So what are you looking at as far as capacity?
Right now, we have room for 16 men, 3 of them custodial fathers with up to 3 minor children each. So a total will be 25 people, 26, including me, because I will live on site. They need somebody there all the time. And
they need a house mother.
Oh, God, please. Oh, have a heart. It won't be mine because I don't have one, but, yeah. Anyway, yeah. Basically, they need the junkyard dog to guard the door.
Right.
And I'm it.
So as far as your capacity up to 16 plus
about 26 people.
Yeah. So how do people look into this, get lined up, get signed up on the list? How do they contact you about more information?
Well, anytime they see the blue and purple truck with the big sign across the tailgate. Knock on the window, or go into the library if I'm there, because I spend a lot of time there. It's kind of a central point.
But you also got another meeting coming up November 19th, which is open for anybody who might be interested as well.
And now we've had one. I'm not quite sure what to make of this. The man is in prison for another month and a half. His mother wants to pay, if provided he passes the background check, she wants to pay his maintenance share for the whole year. But it's his mother. And I'm not sure if this is a great thing or not. So everybody's hashing this over right now. We're deciding, it sounds really good, and it would take a lot of stress off him.
But the whole rationale is
he's not having any skin in the game.
Yeah, because it is a co-op, and this is a pilot project and an interesting model and something I'm following very closely. So November 19th, Room C at the Bismarck Burley Public Library.
Yeah.
Anything else to add?
Donate.
All right. How do they do that?
They can go to the website and leave us a message, or they can email us at singlemenshousingcooperative1@gmail.com. And that one is the number.
And what's the website?
Singlemenshousingcoop.com. Cooperative.com.
Cooperative.com.
Yeah. Or find me.
She's easy to find.
Yeah, I'm easy to find. Hard to get along with, but easy to find.
Carol, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having us.
Single Men's Housing Cooperative, great pilot project, making some advances here in the community, filling a need for single men's housing in some situations. Anything to help homelessness that moves the needle. It's very interesting. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. This hour of the program brought to you by Hit Inc. Independence, dignity, respect. Hit Inc. Big Boy, just getting lined up, moves fast, and Dvorak Motors, where your family for a lifetime. Coming back, tell you about the Rock Show coming up next on Super Talk 1270.
Talk 1270.